On today's very special July 4th edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download, we teach you how to make $100,000 per year with the Lamborghini driving mortgage banker Steve Currington. And we want to give a big shout out to Steve Currington's father, Dennis Currington.
Dennis Currington, my dad, that's right. 75 years old on July 5th.
To you.
There we go.
Happy birthday
He's going to love this.
to you.
It's the country version.
Happy birthday, dear Dennis. Happy birthday to you.
Love you, Dad. You're an awesome dad. You're the best dad. You're my only dad.
We're singing slow.
We ain't drunk.
No drinking
Happy
allowed.
birthday, dear
We
Dennis.
are not drunk.
Happy birthday to you.
Who drank all the sake?
Love you, Dad.
Who drank all the sake?
You drank all the sake. I saw you guys drinking all the sake. I know you did this.
All the sake.
A lot of sake.
Oh, we're still singing?
You guys all drank the sake.
feel my
I saw you.
face.
I saw you do it.
Hey, Dad, this is the longest
Everything
birthday.
is moving now.
It's
Really? I
Sorry.
don't feel very good.
Stop. Yeah,
Really sorry.
It's his birthday.
Too much sake.
Love you, Dad.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we
Yes, 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 and yes, Thrive Nation. It is a very special occasion for many reasons, but one of which is we have the Lamborghini driving mortgage expert Steve Currington right here inside the box that rocks. Steve, how are you doing, sir?
What's happening?
Steve, I'm excited to have you on the show.
Yes, thanks for having me.
And I was doing my research.
Oh,
getting
yeah.
prepared
You've
for
done
the
a little
show.
research, okay.
And one of the things I discovered while doing a really copious amount of research is that in order to buy a Lamborghini, one must have money.
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad. Feel the flow happy. Feel it. It's circular. It's like a carousel. You pay the...
It could put a lot of pressure on a man thinking about how much money you need to have in order to buy a Lamborghini. As I began to think about it,
Dude, you just buy it, you can figure out how to pay for it later.
I was thinking about, man, how much money does it cost to buy a Lamborghini? And I was just overcome with I was overwhelmed.
It was 2.5 times the cost of my first house. I'll tell you that.
So I had to get a kind of an emotional. This was Steve coaching me through it. He was coaching
Yeah,
me.
I remember this.
Steve,
This was early this
Steve,
morning.
how is it possible that you were able to afford a Lamborghini? And then you said this to me.
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good
I
energy,
didn't know you were recording
block out
this
the
at the
bad.
time. This is really...
Harness, energy, block, bad.
Oh,
Feel the
awkward.
flow happy. Feel it. It's circular. It's like
Happy-
a carousel. You pay
Happy's
the
my
quarter.
nickname.
You get on the horse. It goes
Happy's
up
my
and
nickname
down
that Steve
and
calls me.
around. Circular, circle with
Steve,
the
I
music,
appreciate
the
you
flow.
referring to me as Happy. It's
All
very
good
nice of
things.
you. Now, think about this for a second, though. A lot of people out there, we all want to drive a Lamborghini. We all want to make $100,000. We all want to build a dream home.
True.
We all want to do these things. And Steve, you've been able to do a lot of these things. When was the first year? How old were you the first time you made $100,000? How old were you the first time you made $100,000 of income?
Like 22.
22?
22.
And what were you doing at the age of 22 that allowed you to earn $100,000 of income?
I danced. I was a male dancer.
You were a male dancer.
No, I'm just kidding. So
Wow.
I was I was a debt collector, actually. So I was...
You were a debt collector.
Collected American Express.
So how did you make money as a debt collector? How does that work? Walk us into the world of debt collection.
Well, we collected for various clients like Capital One, American Express. People would default on their credit card. We would call and sell them on the benefits of them paying it. And we got paid the company got paid a commission from American Express to collect it, and then I got a percentage of that. So basically, once I covered my seat, which was about $8,600 or $7,600 a month, in revenue for the company. I made basically 30 cents on every dollar that I collected. So
I want to make sure I get this idea. So for every, if you collected $1 million of debt, how much would you make?
the company would make, depending on the client, they might make like anywhere between 20 and 40% of that. And then I'd get 30% of those fees. So,
You'd get 30% of the fees.
mm-hmm.
So did you, in your mind, or did you have a piece of paper where you would track the income, and that way you knew kind of where you were headed?
Yeah, we had a every 2-week goal. We had a close out on the 15th of the month and the 30th of the month, where we had certain numbers we had to hit. So like in my case, like at one point my fee goal to collect in fees for the company was like $13,000 every 2 weeks. So basically I had to collect $26,000 in fees for the company every month just to keep my job. And so I would make 30% of that, which was about $8,000 a month but I often exceeded that by a lot. So.
Were there people who worked in the same job that made less money than you?
Oh, yeah, most of them.
What's the most money you ever made as a debt collector?
My last year before I got fired from that job.
And this how long ago was this?
2004.
Okay, so we're talking about 16 years ago. Okay.
I made about $149,000 that last year.
And then when you did you leave the job? Did you get fired from the job? What happened?
Well, I mean, got fired. I mean, like go home this weekend and, think about.
Seriously, did you get fired or did you quit?
Yeah, they totally fired me.
Why'd you get fired?
Well,
it's in the past.
I don't
I mean,
remember.
it'll be in the present because
I don't know if I'm ready to share that.
We're releasing the show here on the 4th of July. I
don't know. I mean, some people
start off the 4th of July weekend with a bang, Steve.
I'll just say I have a very addictive personality, so sometimes I get addicted to the wrong things.
So
that's why I'm glad that I'm, I don't drink or do anything anymore.
Here, let's create an environment where it feels as though like you're in a church setting.
Yeah,
but with a very, very elite group of church. We'll call it a
it's
monk.
my testimony now.
A monk-like setting, okay?
Yeah.
And so you can tell me.
It's only acceptable to have this kind of thing if it's your testimony.
Tell Father Clavis, what have you done? I'll forgive you. And the listeners, we have a covenant, a promise of relationship with the listeners. All the listeners, the millions of listeners, they've promised they don't ever share each show with more than 10 people. That's a rule. It's like you cannot. We're not going to break. We're not going to let gossip and rumors and that sort of thing spread. No, we only share with this show with 10 people we know. So just share with us. Tell us why you got fired, and we'll forgive you.
I had a little problem because I like to work, and I didn't.
Well, you're forgiven.
Didn't like to sleep.
You're forgiven.
And
you're forgiven. You like to work.
You're fired.
Okay, so you got fired.
And then I got in the mortgage business.
But you made $100,000 a year at the age of 22.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went into the mortgage business.
Yep.
Now, the mortgage business, again, today's show is how do you make $100,000? That's the question. And you're a guy who's a you're a Lamborghini driving mortgage expert now. And many of our listeners from coast to coast.
Well, it's my dad's.
Right. This just in. Your father has lent you his Lamborghini. No, but seriously, it is your vehicle.
Yep.
And you are, your company is guaranteed rate.
Yep.
And if all the listeners go to stevecurrington.com, they can learn more about you. And you guys do mortgages in many different states, correct?
Yeah, all of them.
Did you help a Thriver again this week?
I did.
Can you share the first name?
California.
Out of California. So a listener reached out to you?
Yep. I can't share names, but
yeah, sure.
a listener did reach out.
Cool.
About
And that's
jumbo loan.
And that's one last week and one this week.
And I got another one that was in Colorado that's a Thriver.
Yeah. So you're helping people do mortgages, get mortgages, but what we're trying to teach today is how do you make $100,000 a year? How do you do it? That is the question. So what I want the listeners to do today is I want all the listeners to take notes as we go through Steve's journey, and then we have a great guest today with us, and Derek's going to pepper you with questions about this. But the first thing you have to do is you have to write down the amount of money you want to make.
Yep.
Steve, why do you have to write down the amount of money you want to make?
Because there's just something about when you put something on paper that it becomes real, and it means that you had to have that conversation with yourself on what that is. It doesn't matter if you're going to write down 50,000 or 100, but you got to write it down. You got to write your goals down. You can't have mythical in the air goals that you're thinking about maybe possibly doing. You got to write it down so you can hold yourself accountable to it.
Step 2, you got to write down the number, the number of deals you need to hit your goal. The number of deals. You got to write down the number of deals that you need to hit your goal. Steve, why is that so important? I mean, now you know, okay, I want to make $200,000 this year.
Yep.
$200,000 this year. How do you get paid as a mortgage guy? I just want to break this in a very, very specific language. So
it's almost the same as when I was a debt collector. I get paid a percentage of the loan that I close. So if I do a mortgage, I do a total in the month of mortgages of $1 million.
Yep.
Then typical originator will make about 1% of the loan amount.
1% of $1 million.
So that'd be $10,000 a month.
So you'd make $10,000 if you did,
which is $120,000 a year.
Okay.
So if you wanted to make $200,000, you can make $240,000, which is the cost of a Lamborghini, by closing $2 million.
So $2 million of loan volume per month. Mm-hmm. The average house in Oklahoma is about $250,000. Now, some of the loans that you're getting in Colorado and California, these are bigger numbers. I mean, these are loans in the 700s, 900,000, million plus, that kind of thing. But let's just say you would need 8 mortgages a month on average in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You need to close 8 deals a month in order to make $250,000 a year.
Yeah, and that's why you got to write that down, because you can certainly have a goal to make $100,000, but if you don't know how you're going to get there, then that's the reason why you write the number that you need down, so you can break it down from an annual down to a, how many deals, and then down to a monthly number that you can strive for.
I want to make
also
sure
break down to a weekly number.
I want to make sure we get this, because somebody wants to get it, but they're on the verge of getting it, Steve.
Yeah.
They say, I want a Lamborghini. And then they say, I want it. And then you say, okay, well, step 1, you got to write down how much money you want to make, because you got to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
And then they start to say, I'm feeling so much pressure. Just the thought of it.
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad.
You get what I'm saying, though? Some people just get overwhelmed with the idea of thinking about the idea. We got to move past that. Now, step 2, you got to write down the number of deals that you need to hit your goals specifically. And I'm trying to get into the mortgage industry so we get this idea so people can get your life. If somebody goes to stevecurrington.com and they fill out the form and they apply to get a mortgage, that would be one deal. You would need that to happen 8 times in order for you to make $250,000 a year. You would need that to happen 8 times a month, right?
Yep.
And you would need the people to be approved. You would need them to actually move forward. And I'm proud to say I was talking to Aaron Antis with ShawHomes.com, longtime client who we've helped to grow his business from $24 million in sales to $82 million last year. Now we're on pace to probably hit 160, 170 this year. And I am proud to announce he told me that you guys, I think we're closing 9 deals this week. Is that right?
Yesterday.
9 deals yesterday. So that means are you doing the mortgage for a lot of those deals? Because people can choose whoever they want to use for the mortgage. And I know you're known as the fast guy. You when people apply, you typically get people pre-approved within 24 hours, but people can choose whoever they want to choose. I know you are the preferred.
I'm the preferred lender.
You're the people that Shaw Homes.
No, like of the list of preferred lenders, I'm the preferred one.
Right, but I'm saying Shaw Homes does recommend multiple lenders.
Yeah.
But how many of those 9 are you probably going to do?
Oh, most of them. I get about 80%.
So I'm just saying, realistically, yesterday you could have made maybe $20,000 yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that a realistic thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, and this is the case with like a lot of businesses, is it's one thing to get the referral, and get the deal.
Yep.
And then you get an opportunity. It's like an at-bat if you're playing baseball, at-bat, right? And in baseball, if you batted 300, that's considered good, which means you're striking out 70% of the time.
Yep.
So in our business, not only do we have to get the referral, but we have to serve the client, take care of them, and then they're going to build, in this case, which could take 7, 8, 9 months. And then through that entire process, we have to continue to serve that customer, take care of them, answer their questions, be available when they have questions, talk to them about rate locks. That's why I've made a bunch of videos that talk about things that I get asked 8 times a day. I think this morning I had 4 conversations in a row that were the exact same conversation about how long can I lock my rate. So not only do you have to get the referral, take care of the client on the spot, but then you have to service that customer through the term of their loan. I have a guy that just texted me while we're here that we're doing a refinance for. And we've already ordered his appraisal. Everything's moving along. And he texts me. He's like, my bank made me an offer. Can you match it? So not, okay, thanks. I got the referral. I've been working with him for like a month and a half. And then here it is. Everything's moving along. And now he's like, someone's competing with you. So you have to, and I don't care what you're selling, with the exception of like if you're going to maybe sell a widget or a cell phone where someone walks in and they want an iPhone and you sell it and make a commission. Not only do you have to take care of that customer on the front end, but you got to continue that service unless you sell one-off.
One-off.
If you just literally like sell a cell phone, you can just sell it. You don't have to actually be that great. You just be like, here, buy this cell phone. I make $10. In our business, what we do, it takes a lot more additional service with that customer just to keep them, because you could spend a lot of time, Clay, pre-approving people and then never closing their loan, because I only get paid when I close the deal.
I'm sorry.
Go for it, Derek.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to usually close a customer, would you say?
I mean, it depends. If they're building, then the house isn't done, so
Right.
it depends on the builder. But, we picked up a deal at the beginning of May that we closed from the time we got their application to when they were clear to close. It was 9 days. We can close quick. I think our average time right now is like 19 and a half days from the time they sign their initial loan documents to when we get clear to close. Our goal is to be clear to close and ready to close before they're ready.
So when you're creating your goals, right, of X amount of money per month, you're taking your average into consideration, saying I want to be at this number by X time, and so you're just kind of averaging out like 19 days.
Yeah, I mean, sure, the time to close it can be fine, but as far as like we look at what I would call like short money and long money. Okay, so the long play with someone like Shaw, who's a builder, would be to like set up future income.
Right.
Because I'm pre-approving people today that don't necessarily need to close in 19 days.
Right.
And then my short money might be someone who calls me, like this particular client that called because some other guy screwed it up and they were closing in, 12 days and they needed somebody to pick the ball up and get it closed quick. And that's where I win short money, because I get that commission when the loan closes.
Yep.
I get paid quicker. So you kind of have to have both. And the way that it's set up now is we have projected out what we're going to close all the way out for like 9-10 months. And then anything that comes in that isn't a new construction, that might be a refinance, or it might be, someone who got pre-approved yesterday that's buying a house and closing in the next 30 days.
Yep.
Then certainly we can get those closed, and that happens every single month. So you kind of like compound what you're doing.
So you have a balance then. So if your number is I want to make $200,000 a month or whatever the case is, then where you're sending out for long and short term as far as that goes.
I just have to make sure the ones that are in the future that we keep taking care of them, because look, good people that are building a house, they don't care if you've spent 7 months servicing them.
Right.
If you get to the closing,
I'd
or
service
30
you,
days,
Steve, for 7 months. I'll tell you that.
If you get to the
Holy cow!
you get to the closing or 30 days from the closing and your rates are terrible or your service is terrible, they still have time to fire you and go to a different lender. So you got to take care of them, and you got to make sure. I just got a guy yesterday. He was like, "Hey, I'm shopping. I've been talking to him for 7 months."
It's kind of an interesting name. I'm shopping.
Hey.
Yeah, he was shopping. He was shopping me with another preferred lender. He was
that's
saying
a weird name.
The other preferred lender has this rate, and I said, "Well, mine's better anyway. Let's just lock it right now." So we locked it and got him done. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to. You got to get the referral in the beginning, and then you got to.
Now let's get into this. I want to make sure the listeners get this. Again, the idea of wanting to have a Lamborghini, that is so good that you start with a big goal. That's great. I applaud that idea. We want a Lamborghini. You want a nice house. You want to make $100,000. That's great. But don't get overwhelmed by the idea and spend your afternoon sitting on the couch of a psychologist who says,
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad.
Because there are people that will charge you for that.
Yeah.
For that kind of coaching. Now, step 1, write down how much money you want to make. Got it. Step 2, write down the number of deals that you need, Steve, to hit your goals, which you're doing. Yep. Step 3, you got to write down the number of rejections needed per day to achieve your goals. You got to write down the number of rejections needed to achieve your goal. Somebody just said, that was me. You got to write down the number of rejections needed per day to achieve your goals.
There's a book about this. It's called Go for No, and it's
Go
like
for No. You
it's
love
a
the book.
45-minute read.
You love the book. Steve, tell us about Go for No. Tell us about the rejections.
You're
tell us how
just
to process
flipping
that.
things. Some people say, I want to get 3 deals today. And then when they get 3 deals, it doesn't matter if that's at 3 o'clock or 9 a.m. They're like, woo, hit my goal. They go home or they go to the bar,
everybody.
whatever happens.
Hey, everybody, hit my goal.
Yeah, the Go for No is setting a number of how many no's you're going to get, because in the process of getting 20 no's today, you might get 5 deals. You might get 5 yeses. And if you had set your number at 3 yeses, then you probably would have stopped at 3. So the Go for No is more focused on how many rejections, like Clay said, that you're going to get in a day versus how many yeses that you're going to get.
It's a mindset that I carry with me, you carry with you in all things. Now, because
you kind of embrace it too.
Yeah, well, because when you go to stevecurrington.com and you take the time, if you're listening right now and you need a mortgage, I would ask you, if you need a mortgage right now, why not at least try out Steve? I'd recommend you try a couple lenders, but
especially for jumbo.
So you go
to the
Steve,
number 1 non-bank jumbo lender.
So those are big loans, big loans.
Anything over typically about $500,000, but it depends on the market that you're in. But call me; rates are ridiculously low. On
so
jumbo.
you go to stevecurrington.com, you fill out the form, and I'm just going to tell you about
and
the
you'll say, "I want a jumbo loan." Go ahead.
And I'm going to tell you about what happens is someone fills out the form, because this just happened to me yesterday and every day. Somebody schedules a 13-point assessment with our team, and Steve, they say, "I want to grow my business.
Yep.
I want to. I heard you on this such and such podcast. I saw you on Newsmax. I heard you on this radio program." There's always some sort of tie-in. My friend tells me that you're the best. I know you from college. They fill out the form. And even though, Steve, Julia tells people that it's going to be $1,700 a month,
Yep.
some people are shocked that we have to charge money. A guy the other day says, "I want to move forward." I said, "You should." He said, "I'm going to." I said, "Okay. Well, we have 160 spots, so to reserve your spot for August, we would need a debit card or credit card." He says, "Well, I'm not comfortable giving out the card." I said, "Well, we would need that on file. It's automatic recurred billing. It's month to month. We would need that to secure the date." He says, "Well, I'm going through a thing financially." And I'm not hating you, but that would be an example of somebody who filled out the form who's not a good fit.
Yep.
Because we have to charge money. Now, so again, you got to write down the number of rejections needed per day to achieve your goal. Now, Derek is a marketing consultant. He helps brands that need help with specifically with their branding, their logo, their website, a lot of that kind of stuff. What questions do you have, Derek, for Steve about going for the no, the number of rejections you need per day? Because guys like Tim Redmond with Redmond Growth,
Yep.
each one of his representatives has to get 200 rejections per day. People like ClayStairs.com, his team has to get hundreds of rejections per day. When you did debt collection, Steve, I mean, remember, how many calls were you making per day back then?
Couple hundred.
Every day. So what questions, Derek, maybe do you have for Steve about going for no?
I actually I want to add something to it, is that my wife and I, we went through this process for our business, and we went through, because I heard actually you guys talking about that go for no. And so it really is a mindset change. But my wife and I, we went through, and it was so exciting to see it, because you're taking this massive number and breaking it down to the point of, I can do that.
You can do that.
I can do that. Like, we can do this. This is something that's achievable. But when you're in that different mindset, what you guys discuss all the time is that different mindset. You're like, I can never make $100,000 a year, a month. I can never do this. I can never do that. And then you immediately give up ahead of time, and you don't do anything. And then you're working at a bank or as a teller when you're 33 years old, or
I've been with the whole COVID-19 thing. I've been very, very passionate about wanting to share the truth with people, because, again, I don't want anyone to have to feel like I don't want our guests to feel like they have to jump in the boat with me on this. But I'm anti-fear. Now, I'm all about being cautious when something's actually scary, but I don't want people to be afraid. And so when I discovered, what does it mean to have COVID-19? Steve, what does it mean when you test positive? I thought I want to know that. So I went to the CDC's website, the Center for Disease Control. I went to the website, and this is what it says. It says, I'm reading the actual words from the CDC website. It says, if you test positive, a positive test result shows you might have antibodies from an infection from the virus that causes COVID-19. It says you might have antibodies from an infection with the virus that causes COVID-19. However, there's a chance. There's a chance a positive result means that you have antibodies from an infection with a virus from the same family of viruses as the common cold. Steve, why is that significant? When I'm on the Center for Disease Control's website and they're saying when you have COVID-19, it means you might just have had antibodies from the common cold or from COVID-19. Why is that a significant development?
Because it means you can have no fear.
Yeah, I mean, it means...
Don't even fear.
And then when you discover the Center for Disease Control reports that 99.2% of all the people who contracted COVID and died from it in Italy, where we all got scared initially, Italy, 99.2% of all the people that died in Italy had deeply compromised immune systems.
True.
And we're
they would
elderly.
have died from the common cold.
Yeah. So
they would have died from the flu.
So what I did is I made a list. I said, let's make a list.
They would have died from the wind blowing too hard.
So, Steve, I made a list. I said, I want to get this information out to the good folks who watch CNN. CNN. I want to get this out to the good folks that watch News Max.
Yep.
I want to get this out to the good folks that watch Channel 8. Mm-hmm. I want to get this out to the good folks that watch. And I made a big list. And, Steve, so far I've only had, I think, about 40 media features so far to share the truth.
Yeah.
With an approximate 30 million people.
And you've had how many attempts?
That's the point. I mean, I probably I probably have reached out to not thousands of outlets, but maybe 600 or 700 media outlets have rejected me.
Yeah.
But I feel good about the appearances we've had because I want to help liberate people from being afraid of this. I feel so bad for the people that are not getting married. They're not having graduations. They're not playing youth sports because of this. But, Steve, I committed. I told John, even if we get 100 rejections, as long as we get one deal per 100, it's worth it. And even if we got one per 200, it's worth it. It's just the one. Steve, you know this, though. So how many people do you have to talk to who fill out the application at stevecurrington.com before you find one that actually is a good fit in terms of they have the credit worthiness needed to qualify?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on day by day. Sometimes I'll get a string of, 8 people in a row that are solid and we can approve them. And then sometimes you get some that aren't. So you just have to.
And I'm not asking you to mention the names of the Thrive Nation, but the Thrive Nation's very loyal to you. They do fill out the form all the time and apply for mortgages. But, I mean, is it a high probability that people, are you talking about the majority of people you talk to turn into a client, or is it half? Or?
I mean, if I talk to them, then I've got about a 95% close ratio.
What percentage of people are tire kickers that just fill out your form and just to see what's up?
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody is until they talk to me.
But when someone gets...
Well, you know what I'm saying? Because people call because they want to kick the tires, right? But if you're a good salesman, you can turn someone who walked on the car lot with no intention of buying a car, and you've shown them why they can buy a car and they can save money or whatever. So I get a lot of people that call me that are like, they start with, hey, I just calling to see what rates were. And I think a lot of salespeople would go, oh, well, they're at 3% today. And so they're like, thanks for your time, click.
So let me make sure we have clarifying this idea. Is you, if you're out there today, I don't want you to hear about the $100,000 club. I want you to join the $100,000 club. We want you to join the $100,000 club. Let me tell you what the $100,000 club is all about.
Yeah.
It's about people who can enjoy life and not have to think about their finances all the time. So, Steve, when you put in your koi pond, was it free or did you have to pay money for that?
No, I still have to pay money for that. I wish I would never put the koi pond in.
And when you put the koi,
killed all the koi like 3
when you put the
seasons
koi
in
in there, are koi free? What does it cost to buy a good koi fish?
I'll tell you what, the place that sells the koi fish also raises the birds that eat your koi. And they release them out the back there. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm on nextdaykoi.com.
It's really in my backyard. They release them right there at 117th and Memorial. They release those birds out, and then they eat my koi. Do
you mind if I go on nextdaykoi.com and try to buy a koi fish here? I got a 6-inch butterfly koi.
No, that
$90
website right there sells the birds that eat those too, I guarantee you.
How much did you spend on each koi? Was it $50?
Oh, no, they're way more than that. No, because they're pretty. So you're like, oh, what
$220 for a butterfly koi?
No, it's $200
per
for
koi.
You to get a koi, put it in your pond, and kill it. That's what it costs.
Okay, so but again, you had to build the koi pond.
Yeah, you got to,
and then you had to get the koi. Now, do you have a flat screen in your house?
Yep.
How many cars do you own? Answer
I
the
don't
questions.
really wanna
Quit playing
talk
games.
about it. I don't really
You
wanna
you have more than one car? Do you drive a motorcycle with a sidecar? Is that how
I don't
you got
have
to
that
work?
many cars. I have a Bentley, a Lambo, and 3 Lexuses. Very economical Lexuses.
Okay.
Well,
Very-
Sally's isn't. It's kinda
Many
ridiculous.
people would be very wowed if they drove a Lexus. And you have 3?
Well, my wife has one. My daughter has one. I have one.
Sure. So I'm just saying you have multiple nice cars. You have a Bentley, you have a Lamborghini. And I'm saying this to say you're not that smart.
True.
I'm not that smart, right?
Even
right?
more true.
No, I'm saying both of us, right? Both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times before the show starts, I'll pull you aside. This is how it sounds off air. I'll say, "Hey, Steve, where are my pants?" And then Steve will say something to me like, "Hey, we're gonna be on the show in a minute. You just gotta put on." And then I'll say, "Steve, I can't start my car. Where are my keys?" And we have these deep conversations.
At least once a day, someone says to me, "What is wrong with you?"
Right? We're not that smart.
Like literally. And it's a legit question. They'll be like, "What? What is wrong with you?" And I'm like,
I mean, just earlier yesterday, I said, Steve. I said, Steve says what? And this was all off air.
Yeah.
And I said,
I remember this.
"Can you go to Walmart and get some walls? Because I heard they sell walls at Walmart." Steve.
And like, I actually went looking for them. That tells you how dumb I am.
And 4 hours later, Steve comes back. And the point is, we're not that smart. But everybody listening here, you got to get on the club. You got to join the team.
Well, and you don't have to. It doesn't require. It actually probably works against you the more intelligent that you are.
This is
because
right.
More intelligent people overanalyze things.
Yes.
And
preaching.
they maybe have the trouble of doing repetitive things because they're boring and they don't feel fulfilled because who wants to get on the phone and make 200 calls a day? But someone who's just like too stupid to know any better, like me, will just be like, okay, call it, like just call and like, okay. And so that's what I was saying when you have a person call your phone and they go like, well, what are rates? There's one salesperson that goes, here's what the rates are. And then there's me that goes.
That's the smart guy.
Yeah, who like, well, they're 3%. And they're like, well, why don't you close that one? Well, they just
Smart guy's like, well,
they wanted to know what rates were. So
let's role play with a smart guy.
Yeah.
And then let's role play a dumb guy. The dumb guy makes more than the smart guy, though. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling. Guaranteed rate. This is a very smart guy. How are you?
I'm doing good, Clay. This is Steve. Hey, listen, I don't want to take too much of your time. I was just playing around on the internet, and I found that you are the most highest reviewed and most reviewed lender
This is
in like
true.
500 miles. And
Yeah,
my God, you got
this
a lot
is
of reviews.
true.
But
Yeah.
really care about that. I was
Yeah.
kind of looking to see what rates are today.
3.234.
Oh.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I got a guy that's at 3. All right, thanks. Click.
Appreciate you. Call us back if you had a chance.
I already hung up.
It appears as though the
I
phone.
can't actually hear this.
Excuse me, boss.
Like, I actually can't hear anymore.
Excuse me,
I hung up.
boss. It appears as though the phone is disconnected.
There was a gentleman on the phone, and I don't believe he's there anymore.
Let's do another smart guy call. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Boop, 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 boop. I'm calling you this time.
Okay.
Boop, 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 boop.
This
Hi,
is Steve.
Is this Stephen Currington?
That's me.
Stephen Currington. Hi, my name is Clay Clark, calling here on behalf of the Smart Guy Mortgage Company.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, is now a good time to call you?
Nope. Click.
Okay.
Nope.
Let's do another.
Click.
Let's do another smart guy call. Okay. Here we go. This is inner dialogue. Smart guy talking to himself. Oh, how many times should I call him? Is it ethical?
Should I text him too?
Is it legal? What
do I do if they don't answer?
Is he on the not call list? If I call him too many times, what will he think about
This
me?
guy's going to be pissed.
Does he think I'm desperate?
I'm not
If I call
desperate.
too much, he'll think I'm desperate. If I don't call enough,
If he really wants
he'll
a
think I'm
mortgage, he'll
hungry.
call us.
Maybe.
God. I shouldn't have to chase people down.
Holy
And then
cow!
I called him last week.
And then the smart guy turns to the dumb guy who's making all the money, and he says, Daryl, what are you doing over there? I'm just counting all the money I'm making. Daryl, how often do you call your leads? I call them until they cry, buy, or die. But no one's ever died.
and then the smart guy's like, God, that guy's an idiot. How does he make so much money?
So now I'm gonna be a dumb guy.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call a lead that just came in for the 47th time that day.
Yep.
And you are going to answer the phone and indicate to me, you're going to educate me that the person I'm trying to reach is dead.
Okay.
Okay? And because I'm a dumb guy. Here we go. Ready? Boop, 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 boop. You got to answer your phone.
Oh, hello.
Hi, is this Steve Currington?
That's me.
Steve, this is Clay up here at a guaranteed rate. And I wanted to call you about your mortgage, see if you still need a mortgage.
Yeah, I'm still looking for a mortgage.
You are?
Yep.
Okay. Steve, you're supposed to be a deceased person.
Oh, I'm dead?
Yeah, because you're deceased. You're supposed to let me know the person I'm trying to call is dead. Let's try again.
Oh,
here.
my bad.
Here we go.
I think I was.
Here we go.
I'm an idiot.
Hi, is this Steve?
Yes.
Steve, I was trying to call you about your mortgage.
It's actually not Steve because I'm answering Steve's phone because Steve died.
Oh. Are you looking for a mortgage?
Yeah.
Very
actually,
sorry
I
about
am.
your loss. And when are you looking to buy?
Well, actually, we were just met with a realtor yesterday and listed our house, and we actually are about to write a
That's
contract.
how a dumb guy makes money.
Yeah.
Let's do another example. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to call. You will not have answered like 45 times.
Okay.
So by the time you answer, I've called you for the 46th time that day. Ready? So you're going to pick up the phone, but I've been calling you all day.
Yep.
And you're kind of hot about it. You're kind of hostile.
Yeah, I can be
Here
that
we go,
guy.
right? Boop, 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 boop. Hi, is this Steve?
Who is this?
This is Clay up here at the mortgage company.
How many times? You've called me like 40 times today. Like, why are you calling me?
I saw that you wanted a mortgage, and these rates are hot. And I wanted to make sure your voice message system was working.
Well, it's working. It's definitely working.
Let me
I'm
ask you-
working,
let
and
me
I'm
ask you,
busy.
when do you want to close on the house?
Well, we hold on a second. I'm going to take this call. We're in contract. We're probably closing in the next 3 weeks, which is why I filled the form out. I'm
Okay,
just
great. Now, and then what's the loan amount you're looking for?
about $250,000.
Okay, and then but we fill out the form together, and I say, well, we're going to beat anybody's rate, and I'll tell you this, we're the fastest, we're the highest rated, and you're going to want to work with me because nobody, I mean, I called you 46 times to reach you. I have that kind of tenacity and capacity. What I lack in mental capacity, I make up for in work. Right?
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what happens.
Yep.
So am I correct?
Yeah.
The dumb guy almost always beats the intellect. So you got to learn to turn off that part of your brain that overprocesses.
Yep.
Don't we?
Yeah.
To join the $100,000 club?
Yeah, and I think you got to stop letting people ask you questions and start asking questions. Like when someone calls in,
Yep.
they want to ask you questions.
Right.
And your tendency is to answer those questions.
And then you're on defense.
What you need to be doing is asking them questions because through the process of you asking them questions, they are going to see your competence. That's what happens because the questions you ask will relate to that person, your ability to do the job. Because if you are just a guy that just says we're at 3% or we're at 3.237%, they're just going to hang up. But if you said, well, what kind of rate are you looking for? Then they would have said, well, we already got a guy that's giving us at 3%. Well, let me ask you this. Like, how much are you looking to buy? Well, I'm looking at $350,000. How much are you looking to put down? I'm asking questions now.
You're in charge.
Where do you want to live?
You're
we're
leading the
looking at
conversation.
Bixby. Great. I live in Bixby.
Powerful.
How long do you live in Bixby now? Well,
This is
no, we
powerful.
actually live in Broken Arrow. Oh, cool. Well, what brings you to Bixby?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have 2 kids, and they're right at that
I
age.
was a kid one time.
They're right at that age where we can switch them schools, and we really want to be in Bixby. We heard the school. Well, that's awesome. I have 2 kids that went to Bixby. One of them went pre-K through 12, and
we
loved it.
A really super smart person a lot of times struggles to learn the next step. We have 2 more steps we're going to cover. Step 4, you got to write down the stupid, repetitive tasks that you must do on a daily basis to achieve your goals.
Yep.
So there's 3 things you got to do right now if you want to build a mortgage business. And I'll tell you what Steve does. And then I challenge you to try to do it because, Steve, the reason why you have 8 loans yesterday coming across the line is, again, and this is not a backhanded compliment. It's not because either you or I are geniuses, but you've mastered this. You knock out the worst things first. You do the stuff you don't want to do before you do the stuff you want to do. Before you go out and take your Lamborghini around town and have fun with that. Before you travel, before you go on vacation, you do the stupid repetitive tasks. And the 3 things you have to do if you want to become a multi-million-dollar mortgage agent, as you are a mortgage banker, you have to do 3 things. You got to get an objective Google review every day. Just one. Juan? Yes, Juan. Can other people leave a review or just Juan? Oh, no, you can get reviews from other people, but you've got to get Juan review per day. Maybe one from
You know
Juan.
who's really on fire right now for reviews? Bloomer.
Both
of them.
He's feeling
I
the
ran
flow.
into I'm not kidding. I was getting gas this morning at 91st and Yale. And guess who pulls up?
Bloomer.
Manna.
And
she's like, hey, did you get that text from Andrew this morning? We're trying to beat John.
Working the reviews.
And yes, they are because they're serious about it. And that's the thing is
they want to get those objective reviews. They want to get those.
That's how we got to. I think we're waiting for the coronavirus to finally give us our reviews for the last 2 months. But I think we're sitting at 645 reviews. Our closest competitor's at like 190. Like it's not even the only game now is to see how many times I can quadruple.
You got to every day get an objective Google review if you want to become a multi-million-dollar mortgage guy.
Because here's what happens. Yep. Those calls that I get now. Like I would say a good percentage of the time, this is how they go. Hey, I found you on Google and I've already read all your reviews and gosh, you guys seem to do an amazing job. I just kind of wanted to look at like what kind of rates you have and that kind of thing. So it's already done the selling.
People have already
for me.
decided.
They've already read all the reviews.
You're the salesman that doesn't even sell now.
So as long as I'm not like an idiot and I've priced myself way out of the market and I'm trying to sell gasoline for $2 more than everybody else, then I have a customer there. I just have to do my job and give them a good deal like I promised. I'm good.
Imagine that, Steve, you're a fisherman. You're out there on the water fishing.
Which I couldn't do that.
But pretend for a second that you're a fisherman. Let me get my
the fish would be like, would you shut up so we'll bite that worm?
Have you ever been
on the phone?
Steve, have you ever been fishing before?
Yeah, for like a minute, and then I was like later.
Let's pretend though that we're out fishing.
I'm not waiting on the fish. Can we jump in the pond and just grab the fish by the hand?
Let's pretend that we're
with our hand, I should say.
Let's pretend for a second that we're out fishing together, okay? Yep. And here we are. We're just fishing. We're just okay. You're a fisherman. You're having a good time. And let me see if I get it. So you're casting. It's a fishing rod. You're winding. You're doing the things. I don't really know why people fish. For those of you out there that like to fish, I that's fine. I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
No, I don't hate anybody that fishes. I'm just like.
So this is kind of we're out there fishing, and imagine you're fishing, and what I am is I am a fish. I'm under the water. Okay. Yeah. And this is the conversation that happens when you have the most reviews. Well, it looks like it's a boat. It's got a lot of reviews. I think I'll hop in to my certain death. Right? Because it's like it's fish jump in the boat.
Yep.
Because it's like the fish jump in the boat. It's the craziest phenomenon ever.
And if you don't have reviews or you have very limited reviews, the opposite happens. You know what the opposite is? The phone doesn't ring. So you never have a chance to screw up and say
it's a virtuous cycle. You got to get reviews. Once you get reviews and you wow your customers, then the customers tell more people, more reviews. But to start that momentum, you've got to get some rejection. Okay, again, to start that momentum, quit talking about the symptoms, quit talking about the things you don't have. You've got to take action. Write down the stupid repetitive tasks that you must do on a daily basis to achieve your goals. And one is get an objective review every single day. 2, implement the Dream 100. As God is my witness, I watched you, Steve, talk to some of the top realtors and the top home building companies in Oklahoma for weeks, becoming months that became years.
Yep.
And now you're getting all the referrals.
Yep.
But I mean, you were tenacious and following up. How many times?
Other people will be sitting back going, God, he's so lucky.
Wouldn't it be nice?
I mean, what must be nice.
How many times did you hear a no or an indirect no from Shaw Homes before they began referring you? How many months and how many times?
3.5 years. I can't count them.
For 3.5 years they told you no, either directly or indirectly. That's for 3 years, folks. How many times did they tell you no, Steve?
I can't count it. There's too many of them.
But a smart person would go, well, it doesn't seem like it's working. But a dumb man, an unreasonable man, by the way, only the unreasonable people succeed. The unreasonable man who refuses to make the average, the unreasonable man would say, Glenn Shaw's not referring me.
I think he's going too soon, though.
Year 2.
It's been 2 years with no referrals. I think it's starting to warm up.
Exactly.
3 years.
For 3 years, he hasn't referred me. Maybe he's playing hard to get because, people want what they can't have. He wants me to want it. That's what he wants.
Talk about the awkward interactions. I mean, at a certain point, did you show up at his office? Did you mail him crap? What did you do?
with Mr. Shaw, I got him. He's a big golfer, so I got him the Pro V1s, which are like the most expensive Titleist golf ball you can get. And I got the Shaw Holmes logo put on them, and underneath it says lovesstevecurrington.com.
Did you?
And then I would just drop them off every week.
Did you get him a membership at the country club he owns?
No, you're right. He already had plenty of memberships. But yeah, I just showed up all the time, and they were like, he kept telling me, he's like, because Aaron would tell me, like, look, I got to get we already have enough preferred lenders, and I have to get Mr. Shaw's okay. So I was going after Mr. Shaw, and Mr. Shaw was like, dude, you're talking to the wrong guy. You know, Aaron's really the decision maker. And I'm like,
you're getting bounced around there like a
starting to get
Yeah.
a little pissed. And I'm like, well, who's the decision maker?
You're like in a pinball machine.
But I just had to work them both. You know,
You had to work
them
it.
both.
You
Yeah,
had
and
to work
now
it.
that's just where, you know, people are like, oh, that's congratulations, man. You became the preferred lender. I was like, what do you mean congratulations? This is where the work starts. Like I didn't. All I did was pursue him for 3.5 years. Now I actually have to perform. I actually have to do the job and like not get fired. It's a lot harder, you know, when you're number one, everybody's trying to take you down, right? When you're just trying to be, you got a thing to get to. So, like, now, every day, what am I trying to do? Keep it. So you don't want to lose it. So.
Right. And again, I mean, it's about as exciting as digging a ditch, but the rewards are there.
Yeah. But, you know, digging a ditch is kind of exciting.
I do want to say something
Sure.
that the smart person also will continually change the system. Like that's the world that I was in is that, this isn't working. So I'd only give it 2 weeks. And then like,
2 weeks.
This isn't working. So I completely change everything, but you never know if it's going to work or not because there's no consistency.
And
with
you're not
it.
tracking. You're not knowing what's
Exactly.
working, what's
Exactly.
not. Now, step 4, again, write down the stupid repetitive tasks you must do on a daily basis to achieve your goals, okay?
Yep.
But the things that Steve is doing to grow his mortgage company is, one, he's getting a Google review every day. Juan review every day.
One and only.
Not 17 today. Not 17. Not like, oh, I forgot a week. Now I need to get 8 today. Oh, I forgot a week. Now I have to do 7 today. But you're just every day. One. 2, implement the Dream 100. Call your top 100 ideal and likely referral sources and don't stop. Don't forget to do it for a month. And don't spend your whole week doing it, Steve. This is just part of your week. You touch base with all 100. And then you got to call your leads. Steve, you got to call your leads. There's a lot of other things you have to do. You got to write the search engine content. I can get into the other things. I'm just trying to give the listeners some meat on the bone here.
Yeah.
You got to call your
Call your
leads.
leads.
How many times will you call a lead? If they fill out your form, how many times will you call that lead, Steve, before you move on?
Till they cry, buy, or die.
That's the move. Till they cry, buy, or die.
And let me define what I mean by cry. Cry is not, hey, man, I'm not interested.
Yep.
You know, buy means like you close the deal, right? Die means they're dead, in which case whoever answers the phone you would try to sell to. Like, my apologies. I'm sorry.
What did you say buy means?
Buy means you close the deal. Like, you got them. It's a deal. Like, they bought from you.
Would you say that the late, great George Michael was buy?
Yeah, that's a different version of buy. But, yeah, probably.
Define your definition of buy again.
Like, they purchased services from me. And
So to George Michael, he'd say, George, are you buy? And George would say, well, I did purchase services from
I
them.
did purchase services from him.
purchase
So I
services
guess I
from
did
him.
buy, or you do buy, or you are buy. I don't know. But I'll
I
tell
did
you
purchase
this.
services
If you
from
don't
him.
buy,
Oh, that changes everything, George.
then I'm going to keep calling you until you say, if you call me again, I'm going to sue you. I might call you back one more time just to say, what attorney would you use in case I wanted a referral?
Hey guys, when I was saying I was,
were gonna sue me.
guys, when I was saying I was buy, the entire time I was meaning that I bought something from Steve Currington.
Right.
George, this really changes the whole theme of your album here.
Yeah.
The lyrics, we interpret it differently now. So. All right, now, step 5. You got to create a workflow that wows. I mean this sincerely. I've had multiple people in this office who've used you for a mortgage, okay? So you've got what? John Kelly's used you before?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's like
Andrew's
used you. I feel like we have like 3 or 4 people up here in the
Redmond?
office. Redmond, who's used you for a mortgage. And all of them are happy.
Nicole's
used you. Everybody who's used you for a mortgage is happy.
Actually, John is the best client ever.
Has he used
He
you
buys
twice?
a new house every year or so.
Has he used you 3 times or just
Oh,
twice?
he's working on the 3rd one. He
So-
bought a house, hated it, bought a different house, built a house, and now he's building an even bigger house. Because you know why? Because
chicken
he
thigh?
kicks butt. And makes a lot more money.
Oh,
So
I thought it was the most clever rhyme
he
thing.
bought the,
Holy cow!
he bought my favorite floor plan that Shaw builds. It's called the Chelsea K.
The Chelsea K?
It's pretty awesome.
Hey, how come John didn't buy the floor plan that's really catching on with all the kids out there? It's really hot. It's a hot floor plan with all the young kids. It's called the Big Kahuna. How come he didn't do that one?
It's not one Shaw offers because they actually have real floor plans. So
Oh, my.
that's a made-up.
My bad. I was on a different website.
Right, I know.
It was like
I
Thatch
realize
Homes
that.
of the Southeast
I can-
.com.
Yeah, I realize that we're both dumb salespeople, so I can play along.
As a dumb sales guy, a lot of times you can trick me to those things. You say, go to Thatch Homes of the Southeast.
thing is,
and
though-
PayPal wire $100,000 in there.
But Clay
And-
could sell you a floor plan that Shaw doesn't actually build. That's how good he is.
So I want all the listeners
He
to
just
know
wouldn't ethically.
this is an incredible opportunity for you to have a great July 5th. You're hearing this show on July 4th. This is a great opportunity for you to kickstart this month of July. It's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's going to heat up. But you have got to stop watching TED Talks and reading about esoteric theories about things, and you got to focus on the practical. It is the practical. Knowledge without application is meaningless, said Napoleon Hill. Thomas Edison said that vision without execution is hallucination.
Yep.
And so, Steve, we're not hallucinating. It is time to end this conversation, but we hope that this has helped everybody to increase their compensation.
I
And
have a
hope that
thing, too.
everybody- You have a thing?
Yeah, I was going to say
We're
the
going back
5th
to
of
George
July,
Michael?
which is when this is happening, right?
What?
You're going to listen to this on the 5th of July?
Yeah.
It's my dad's 75th birthday. So, Dennis Currington, you're the man. Happy birthday.
Happy
75th.
birthday, Dennis
Hey.
Currington.
75th-year-old, bro.
Hey,
I
what
love
we're
you,
gonna
though.
do? What we're gonna do when we edit this show?
Yeah.
We'll make sure we sing a little happy birthday to him at the beginning of the show.
Oh, there you
That
go.
way you can send it to your dad.
I'll send it to him. I'll be
Yeah,
like,
we'll do it. And then
he'll
let's,
love that. He loves Clay Clark.
and let's do this. Let's say this. If you're out there today and you're looking for a mortgage,
Yep.
I'd encourage you to go check out Steve's website. Steve, what's that website?
It's just stevecurrington.com.
SteveCurrington.com. And because I am a person who actually cares, I would encourage everybody out there to apply with at least 2 different companies. I like to do 3, but I'd encourage you to apply with at least 2 companies. And I'll tell you why. Because you want to do what's best for you and your family. And you want to compare rates. You want to compare customer service. You want to see if the good folks at SteveCurrington.com actually do a good job. I mean, the company Guaranteed Rate is a very successful company. Steve's been a long-time client. He's had a lot of success. But just
Without
because
competition, no one knows how amazing I am.
you got
It would just be standard.
apply for at least 2 places. And now, without any further ado, let's end this show with a boom. 3, 2, 1, boom.